His views on democracy, again, to the right of Republican voters. His views on foreign policy to the right of the Republican voter. What were they thinking?
Now, Mike Johnson on Joe Biden and his criminality. Yo, Mike Johnson knows the Constitution. This man can preach. Just, again, in case you need a little extra chin music on like how and why Mike Johnson is the right man for the right time, check out this clip of Johnson talking about impeaching Joe Biden.
It expressly states that the sole power of impeachment belongs here to this House. And then Article 2, Section 4 says, listen to the language carefully. It's expressly written in the Constitution. This is not political talking points. We're not making this up. It says in Article 2, Section 4 that the president shall be removed from office on impeachment for and conviction of treason, bribery, or other high crimes and misdemeanors. My friends, I just listed just a small sampling, just the tip of the iceberg of the credible allegations and the mounting evidence that shows that Joseph Biden has engaged in bribery schemes, pay-to-play schemes. This is what the evidence shows. We have to follow it. We took an oath to uphold the Constitution. The Constitution requires this.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that's Mike Johnson straight up saying the Constitution requires us to impeach Joe Biden. For not high crimes and misdemeanors. That's what everyone used during the Clinton era. Get that out of your brain. Rewire your brain. Read your Constitution. For treason and bribery is what you're supposed to impeach a president for. High crimes and misdemeanors are down in the document. Treason and bribery is what was listed as the crimes that you are commanded to impeach a president on. And now that's the Speaker of the House. Come on, baby. Buckle up. Let's get going. If you care to see the greatest endorsement of Mike Johnson's speakership, well, ladies and gentlemen, I got one for you. It's our Salt That Lib clip of the day. So I need you to get your salt shakers ready, okay? Get the salt shakers out. I want to see the entire comment section flowing with salt. I have for you a clip of an MSNBC reporter having an apoplectic panic attack, a weepy, tear-filled, molten lava panic attack on the steps of the U.S. Capitol because Mike Johnson just became speaker. Because this soft-spoken, kindly, gentlemanly, father of four, Christian man just became Speaker of the House. The seething, writhing, demonic meltdowns that happened on the left should give you every bit of evidence that Mike Johnson is the right man for the right time. Get your salt shakers out, baby. Let's salt that lib.
As views way outside. I mean, I hope they send him out of the campaign trail because his views on abortion are way outside the mainstream of Republican political thought on the other side of voters in Kansas and Ohio and other very, very red parts of the country. His views on democracy, again, to the right of Republican voters. His views on foreign policy to the right of the Republican voter. What were they thinking?
Well, Stuart Stevens said what I was also told by some folks who were starting to parse through the Mike Johnson record, which is he's Jim Jordan with a jacket and a smile. That's something that when you actually start parsing through the policy comes through very clearly, that this is someone who maybe without the publicity and fanfare is certainly working in lockstep on the same ideological and ethos ideas that people like Jim Jordan and Steve Scalise have been talking about over the course of the last several years. He just hasn't been doing it as often on Fox News. But this is who they ended up with. And I think it takes me back to yesterday when you and I were having this conversation, albeit at that point it was chaos because we didn't know who the speaker was going to be. At least now there is a speaker for the first time in over 3 weeks. But the conversation that you and I were having was that it's part and parcel to the Republican conference platform in the House right now to have anti-small d Democratic values. And so it shouldn't be striking that the person that they put up for this job maybe wasn't cited all over the January 6th report, though there is at least one mention of him in there. But instead, he's someone who simply provided some of the attempted rationale for how to overturn an election. And I'm glad, frankly, that you played the clip from last night when they invited reporters in for a quote-unquote press conference and then said no policy questions. But I tried similarly today when he walked down the very steps that I'm standing on right now and spoke with reporters for, once again, what they called a press conference and didn't take questions. I shouted quite loudly about whether or not he thought the 2020 election results were legitimizing for Biden and if he believed that Biden was the legitimately elected president of the United States. And he once again ignored those questions. And so I know that some people might say it's in the past, but certainly January 6th and 2020 looms so large over this building every single day. And now you have someone in the presidential line of succession who helped with that rationale in a key way that Republican members of Congress were using his legal bases that were, of course, flimsy and non-constitutional, but were trying to use them as their rationale for why they voted against certifying the election results. I think that that's extremely striking and speaks to where the party is right now. The other thing I would add, too, is President Biden was asked about this today, and he said no, he wasn't concerned about having someone like Speaker Johnson with the background he's had in the presidential line of succession. But candidly, Democrats around here don't share the president's view as far as I've heard it.